fact, I think the last time we did about secured portals was just about 2 years ago. So this needed a good update for us. All
Yeah,
right, here come our attendees. Welcome, welcome.
welcome.
Hello, hello, our friends. Thanks for joining us. Um, Excited to talk to you about our secured portals. I am going to make a comment because we all have been in a discovery mode that Zoom webinar did an update for us. We're learning a few things. So if you have any questions about the webinar experience, or if anything looks different to you, please let us know what your experience is. There is the Q&A box. That's what we use for webinar. That's how you ask questions. It's not the chat, so just use the Q&A box. Go ahead and pop in any questions or comments you have. We will monitor, we'll answer them. You will all get to see the answers that come out. So I do recommend moving your mouse around, finding that bar, clicking that Q&A, and keeping that tab open for yourselves. Um, and we're right at time, so we're just going to keep this going. We record these, we send out the recordings. We always put the recordings on our support site, so they will be available for all of you. And here we go. We ready? We ready, Jordan? We're ready,
I
right?
think we're ready.
Sounds good. Okay. So on our webinar today, your team, Jordan and myself, Allison, we're presenting our primary presenters today, and we have Christina and Chrissy moderating, as well as Brian from our sales team moderating, and always here to answer any questions you have about any of our sales. And if you have any referrals, always plug that referrals, right, Brian?
Yep, absolutely. And then I'm working with a lot of partner agencies currently. So yeah, if you know partner agencies that need a revamp on their website, have them reach out.
Yeah, please. All right, here's our agenda for today. We're going to start with a poll question, so I get to know our audience a little bit. For those of you, find out who's using secured areas, what you're doing, talk to you a little bit about that. We always have some did you knows, some good pointers, things that you may not know about your website that it's capable of doing. I'm going to do some showcasing, showing you some samples of them in practice, and then hand it off to Jordan for talking through all those roles, the authenticated roles, the secured user roles, how to set all that stuff up and make that work. So it's a really well-organized presentation for you today, which will have a lot of good information. So let's start with that poll question. And I call this Know Your Audience. It's really for us to understand you guys on the call a bit. I have launched it. Hopefully you see it. There are 2 questions. You will have to scroll down. This is when we find out who's paying attention. Take a look at your screen. First off, since board is one of the most popular ways that people tend to use the secured areas, how do you currently handle board? And you can choose as many of these as you want. Like, oh no, this is a one answer. The other one's as many as you want. Are you emailing out all the attachments of all the stuff? Are you printing them and bringing them? Are they using a web portal through us or through another company? Or you really just don't know? And then the second one is if you are using our stuff, what of these platforms are you currently using? So give you another couple minutes. We'd love to have you all participate in it. It really lets us know where you're at as far as our secured area topic for today goes. And with that, I thank you for taking a moment and answering them. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share our results so you can see them. Okay, so a lot of you are emailing those emails out. I imagine they don't always go through because if you have big attachments, and email's not the most secured thing in the world because you got financials and you got records. I know you're nonprofits and it's all kind of public anyway, but sometimes that might not be the favorite way to do it. Printing and bringing packets. Let's save a tree. A web portal through us. I've got some of you and some through another organization. Some just don't know. And then those of you who are using our system for it, some of you are not, quite a few, over half of you aren't. So, all right, well, this is good. Oh, I'm very curious about the ones who said you're using it for a different secured area. If you are one of those people that used that answer, would you please go ahead and use the Q&A and tell us how you're using our secured area and what it's for, if it's something outside of the 3 samples we have here, because I love to have people thinking outside the box, because the secured area, everyone thinks secured board area, but there's so many other ways it could be used. So if you want to share that with us, that is fabulous. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this and we're going to move on. So here's my Did You Knows for our webinar today. One of the things that we often get asked is, okay, we're going to have a secured board area. What should we do as far as password, username and password? I want to give them all the same. It's just easier than I know what it is. Well, you can, but should you? That's the one that gives you pause. So best practice, if you're going to set up usernames and passwords for board or for any group, is to have them be individually secured and individually tied to their own email. That is the best practice. Also, we're going to show this today, and especially I just know I have a lot of United Ways on who are getting ready for a campaign. If you want to give an individual, one person, the only special access to your website you want to give them is to a results page. Like all the pledge cards that came in and they want to get to the results page. We're going to show you how that can be done. So you can give individual access to a form results. Maybe you're doing one of the Christmas programs we got going on. A lot of people are setting up having people sign up to give coats and presents and stuff at the holidays, and you need admins to have access to just the results. That's the kind of stuff we can do. And then my last Did You Know is if they're a secured user or authenticated user and they're logged in, then with forms, they can save draft and they can come back and view, they can actually see their past submissions and stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why that whole secured access is something you're going to want to use in certain situations. So let's go ahead and do a showcase on some of these. I'm going to use our demo site and this is our demo site that we're using currently. At the bottom of the site, and a lot of you guys at the bottom of your site, you have your little login. So usually what we'll do, even with board, is we're going to just instruct them, how do I get to my board portal? How you get to your board portal, once you guys have it created, which we're going to show you next, is go to the bottom, click login, and then they are going to use their username and password. For the case of this demo, I am going with a generic one, which is just board with a capital B, and you guys are welcome to come check this out. And then board with a capital B again to log in. Oh, you know what? I should have just used my saved one because I just typed it wrong. That's so funny. Look at me go. That's why. And then what happens if you give them all the same, someone messes up and they mess up again and they mess up again and they lock everyone out and they'll say you're locked out for 6 hours and you're about to have a board meeting and no one can get in because somebody just locked it. So that's why you have individual ones. So, okay, so I'm a board member and I logged in. So this is a sample board page, just one we kind of made up. Next board meeting's coming up on Thursday, August 8th. Here's your board packet. No, I'm not going to email all of my materials. You are a responsible adult. And for those of you who say, well, my board members aren't very tech savvy and they don't know how to log in and do this, why are they a board member? Just in our modern day and age, most people should be able to log in and access the stuff. They can even do it from their phone, which is handy as well. So they log in, you have all your updated materials here so they can access them and you don't have to email or print anything. And you can even ask them to RSVP. Hey, I'm going to come to the meeting. Great. And yes, I can attend. Oh, and there's a conditional question. Do you want a turkey sandwich, a salad, or I don't want lunch today? And notes for the agenda. Oh, reminder to talk about our Christmas party because we need to schedule it because, you know, it's August. So we got to schedule Christmas, or it's almost August. All right. Here's on the sample page. Here's some ideas, past minutes and agendas and treasurer's reports and any documents. Folks love this. Then you have all this historical stuff in one place. It's great. These can be button links. I don't really have them go into anything. Bylaws, conflict of interest policy, equity and inclusion policy, whatever you'd want to list here. Here's some committee tabs that you could keep updated with committee information, who's on the committee when they're meeting, any notes that they have. So you could have stuff like that. And this is one look. It doesn't have to be tabs. It could be accordions. It could be columns. It could be open things. But it's just a kind of a nice view of it. So the deal is this page is not accessible unless they're logged in. See, I have a tab up here for them. So if they move around, what's great is you get your board members to log into your site. They're going to click around your site. You want them going to your website. You want your website being that central hub of information that your board views as valuable. So they go and they're like, oh, let me look at some information on the site, this demo site, not much on it. And then they're like, oh, how do I get back to the board portal? Once they're logged in, this board portal tab will remain open for them up here. And so this is only appearing once they're logged in as a board member. Let me go ahead and log out as my board member. And you'll see that board portal tab is not there anymore. So your instructions are go to the bottom, use that login, get to that page. All right, let's go ahead and be a staff member. I know a lot of you are like, yeah, I'm a staff of 2. So the staff might not be one you use it for, but we have plenty of organizations who are much larger and have a lot of needs for a staff secured page. What would I put on a staff secured page? Well, our Zooms every Wednesday. Here's the Zoom link. Here's paydays. Here's what our holidays are. These could be links to forms, request a vacation, or what's some upcoming birthdays. One of my organizations, which is a senior center group, they have required training that their staff has to do. And so they set this up in their staff portal. And I'll show you this because I think this is kind of cool. And their staff members log in and they track when they've completed the food safety training, when they've completed this training, when they completed this training, and then this goes to their HR team to keep track of the employees who have completed the training that they need to do. So that would be a sample of that. And let's do a volunteer. And in this case, I'm going to use it like an allocations portal. So I'm going to log in. And this is pretty common with our United Ways. A lot of them are having review panels come in and access the agency applications from here. Again, this is saving on trees. Nonprofits who do this allocations process have had binders full of applications that people go through. Well, take it all electronic, save some trees, let them log in and do it from here. And they can even score it from here, submit, and then go through and do another one. So that has been a pretty popular use for this as well. A couple other uses for the secured areas. I know I have one of my United Ways who's going to use it for one of their workplace campaigns. They want to make all of the employees who want to log into a secured portal so they can have some private stuff. Again, one of the benefits of logging in is that they can see their past submissions. So it's going to be for Exxon is the company that's wanting to do this. That way, if I'm an Exxon employee and I give on a pledge card, next year when I come back, I can actually see my last pledge card and I have access to see some of that material. So it's a decision you could make on a one-off basis. I mean, it's a little more steps for the person giving, but it also provides a little bit more information. What else did the people who said who looked at the answers to the questions as far as they said they used it for different reasons? I know someone said for agency applications, they log in for the agency applications. You might have an agency page for that. Was there any other secured area ideas that folks are using? Okay, so that covers it. All right. So one more in my showcase that I want to show you that I'm really excited about, and I mentioned this in the Did You Knows, and that is about giving access to someone for results to a form. So I'm going to go to this school pledge card page, this public facing page. Schools the school system, everyone's invited to come and fill out the pledge card to give to the school campaign. Okay. Your HR person says, I want a daily report. I want to know about this every minute, and I want to be able to pull it myself. You go, great. Let me create an authenticated user role for you. And Jordan's about to go over how to do that and what that looks like. So we've gone ahead and created it. I want to show it to you visually as to what that experience is for them. So you give them a username and a password set up. And I just did school, made it super simple. And when they log in, they're going to go to our authenticated welcome page. But they know where that school pledge card page is. It's this page, right? So they come back here. So these guys now, because they logged in as an authenticated user and we have given them access to view the results, they can click this results tab. There aren't any. We haven't really done this yet, but they'll be able to download the report themselves. They'll be able to do it. What else can they do on the site? Nothing. They can't edit it. They can't do anything. You have given them a very specific access, which is to view the results on this one form that they have to log in to do. But that just opens up a world of possibilities for you as to how you can allow people to do things, to see things, to access things without you having to do it and pull the report, and fairly easy to get those set up. So that's kind of my showcase for this webinar. And I'm going to let Jordan go into some of the nitty gritties on setting this all up. And now here's when we find out how this looks for everyone. Just curious if you want to chat in there on the question part. Does everyone see Jordan's screen? It should look something like the showcase slide, right?
Yes, you should be able to see, yeah, showcase in big words. Hopefully you're all seeing that come through, but if you're not, let us know in the Q&A chat. Okay, I got a yes, so I think we're good.
Okay, good. It's just me that wasn't able to see it, so that's fine.
Wonderful.
I got it.
Thanks, Stephanie, for confirming that.
All right, keep going.
All right, so I wanted to go through, because we talk about secure areas and we talk about secure users and authenticated users, and there is a difference between the two. So I just wanted to recap what that difference is, because it does allow them to do pretty different things on the site. So authenticated users, this is more for those agency applications that you're having people fill out. They come back, it lets them save a draft, and come back and submit the form. It will let you pre-fill that form year over year if they've already submitted it. That's all requires an authenticated user role on the site. Anyone coming to your site could technically create an authenticated user role for themselves. It will let them create a username and put their email in, and then the site will email them the password link, and that's how it authenticates them as the user. So it does require that they do have an active email address. So if you are wanting to save them a step, you could always start that process for them and kind of start that authenticated user role and let them know they should have a link in their email to set their password. So again, it does not allow them to have full access to your site. They'll log in and see just what you are wanting them to see. You could be very specific on the forms that they're seeing. They will not be able to delete anything or get to the back end of your site and manage content. So secure user roles are a little different. They're kind of a step up from authenticated user roles. The big difference here is that users cannot create themselves a secure user role themselves. That's something that our team will have to do. So if you need secure user roles, you can submit a ticket and our team can get those created. And it allows everyone within that role, when they log into the site, they'll be able to see a content type, right? We have secure content types, which is what we call our secure area. So just like a basic page on the site, there'll be a content type, a new one called board portal or whatever you would like to name it. And it will allow, when they log in with the secure user role, they'll be only able to see those pages, those content types in the view only form. Again, they can't edit any content. They can't delete anything. Our team has to add and remove them from the site. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Authenticated is more for accessing forms. Secure user roles are more for board portals or volunteer portals, kind of the differences that Allison showed. Okay, so how to request a secure area. By default, you should get up to 3 secure areas included at no cost with your website. You may not have them already set up, but you do get 3 for free. So if you don't have them set up yet, we can definitely get them up and rolling for you. If you need more than 3, reach out to your account manager. We can definitely help you out there with how much it costs to add a couple more secure areas to the site. So the first thing you'll want to do is decide what you'd like to call the area. Is it going to be used for your board? Is it going to be used for volunteer? Are you doing allocation volunteer? Do you want to title it something very specific? Know what you want to call the area, and then decide how you're going to manage those users. Are you doing, you can do a universal login, so one username, one password for everyone in the area. We have seen this done before. It is less secure. If someone leaves the board and you need to remove access, it means you have to change the password, and then you have to update everybody on the board that the password is changed, which can be cause issues sometimes. Our preferred method is always creating individual logins. It's more secure. We can very easily and quickly remove access from one person if we need to, so that you don't have to notify a bunch of people. We can just remove one user at a time. So to request an area, you can submit a support ticket. Ask them to please set up a secure area. You can tell them, hey, please title it Volunteer Hub, and I'm going to use individual logins, and here is an Excel sheet with all of the logins. We do recommend creating some type of Excel sheet or tracker for those secure logins, because someone will forget their password and they will email you probably a billion times what that password is. And you'll have it tracked in a nice sheet, so you can let them know right away what that password is. And then how to manage those secure areas. Again, these are just additional content types that we're building on your site. So it's just like managing your basic pages or your events on the site. You'll see all of that, those pages within that content type in your content management filter. You'll add a new page just like you would add a new basic page, and we'll walk through this as well. We also recommend adding a link to this page in the menu, either in the main menu or in the footer like Allison showed. If they navigate away from the main board page, they'll be able to get back to it. There's always typically a login, log out link in the footer as well, so you can let them know where to log out of the board portal. We can also, once we get your secure pages up and running, we can add a redirect so that once a board member logs in, they immediately land on a specific page. So if you wanted to curate kind of a catch-all board portal landing page, and then you've got links to all the other pages, if you have multiple pages, we can make sure we set that redirect up. We can also just put links kind of within the menu for you as well. All right, so let's go ahead and demo now. Okay, the first thing I want to show is the authenticated user, just because we touched on that first. If we log into the site, there is usually that login button. Whoops. Oh, and actually, before I get started here, one thing that we have seen in the past that I want to point out, because you may not have it, if you go to your website and you go to user register, you should see this create new account option or create a new account, reset your password. If for whatever reason you are not seeing this, or you get kind of a access denied message, please let us know. We want to make sure we adjust your site so that you have this visible. This is where you would create those authenticated user accounts.
Hey, Jordan, I'm going to repeat it again, just because I think this is one of those, like, when people turned away. Hey, if you weren't paying attention, this is a good thing for you to check on your site. Like, open up your website and at the end, do a /user/register. You should see a screen like Jordan is showing here. Often this isn't necessarily set up for public to be able to do it. So if you get an access denied and you're wanting to be able to create those authenticated users, make sure you put in a support ticket and ask them to make the /user/register available for public, for everyone, anonymous.
Yeah. This will allow those users to reset their password if they need to as well. And then, yes, create those accounts so they can get in there. So make sure that you do see this. When authenticated users do log in, Allison did kind of, touch on this. Why didn't that want to go through? Let's log in with mine.
You're going to get admin. That's because I changed it to school, Jordan. Remember? Capital S.
Ah, I'm going to lock us all out of here. How many times can I type a password? Okay, so when you know that you have authenticated users coming to the site, they typically will stay on this, we call it the user page, right? It kind of stays in the URL, you can see /user, and then it gives a number, that's the number user that they are on the site. Typically in this area, what we've done and what you've seen in the past is, hey, click here to access our agency application, or click here to access whatever form they're trying to go and fill out. But you can jazz this page up just a bit. I put a little image up here that says, hey, welcome. Here's, what you can do. And if you need to reset your password, click here. So they can go in and kind of manage things. They can also edit their authenticated user account themselves if they do need to update their password. They should be able to do it here. And you can put some other little tidbits that you would like those authenticated users to be able to see. So to do that, as a reminder, and we have covered this in previous webinars, so we can make sure we link out to those, but that is that user block that we have created. So within the website, in the block layout, you may remember adding a user page block for just those authenticated users to see kind of within this content area here. So when you're looking at that block in the custom block library, when you're editing it, this is where you can add in an image if you'd like to, or you can add more instructions for that user to see. You can put multiple links to different applications that different users may need to access. This is for general authenticated users, which means everyone will be able to see this content. So if it needs to be specific, like that school pledge form, you may not want to put it right here on this page, just because then everyone would be able to easily access it. But if it's a message out there for everyone, it's safe to put within this block here.
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah?
I get to that a little differently.
Sure.
So if you click on your name, if you click on Jordan in the bar and you go view profile, so if you click on your username and you go view profile, you'll also get to this page that way, and you can just click the pencil and edit from there. I hate going to blocks, it scares me. So this is usually what I show. I just find this to be just and I think it's good for you to know, like, click on your name and click that view profile. One, you have your own edit to change your password here if you need to. And you'll see here when you're in as admins and different things, like there's that submissions tab for past submissions for yourself that you've done. So there's different things that you might find if you go to your view profile page. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
And this is, just to clarify, I am an admin right now logged into the site, not an authenticated user. So as long as you're an admin, you'll be able to edit what those authenticated users will see. Yes, by going to the pencil icon, you can always jump right in there. And then, of course, all of your blocks are under the custom block library back here. All right, so then the other thing that Allison showcased with the authenticated user was the web form example. So if you had the school that had, maybe their HR person that wanted to be able to log in and see who has signed up or who has pledged, and they want to be able to check, a couple different times a day, and you want to give them access to be able to do that. It is possible, and to do that, we just need to go to that web form. So we'll go under structure and then web forms. And we were working with that pledge card school form. And if we jump to the settings tab, you will see an option called Access over here on the far left-hand side. And if we go into Access, there's a couple areas that we want to pay attention to. There'll be an option called View Any Submission, and you'll be able to select specific user roles that you want to see. But we want to be a little more specific and say, I don't want every authenticated user role to be able to see this. I want this one specific authenticated user role that I created to be able to see this form. And so I was able to put in school as the user. And it is kind of a search as you're typing. So there's that user role that I created, the username. And now when I save, they will have access to view the submissions on this form, view only.
Also, on that, if you put a comma, and you can keep adding people. So sometimes there might be multiple people you need to give access to for that. So there, yeah, you can put multiple people to get user access.
Yeah. And you can play around within these settings too. There are the option to update any submissions. So if you do need to give someone access to make a change to one of the submissions, you can do that. You can give them the ability to delete any submission, although I wouldn't recommend that one. But there's lots of options in here, and you can be very specific by the user what they can and can't do on these forms.
And even at the very top of this form, on like who can create submissions, right now it's set to anonymous. That means anybody could do it. But if you're doing like that agency application or something where they must log in to do it, just make it just authenticated, then it's not available for just anyone. They have to log in.
Mm-hmm. And again, if you have questions, get with your account manager. They can help walk you through this process, because there's some neat things you can do with the forms and some neat permissions that you can send out for different use cases.
One other permission I'll mention, just to throw it out there, because for some reason right now, like everyone's getting ready for their Christmas charity forms. I've got like 3 or 4 of them going with different organizations. And what we are doing is we're adding like within the build of the form an access area for authenticated users to add notes and stuff, like they were approved, they were assigned to this, where they were assigned to that. So we won't get into how to do all that right now. Just know that there's like, you can actually have fields on your form that everyone doesn't see that you can put, like, you know, the blue box with the admin notes, like who was it assigned to? What happened with it? Was this approved? Was this not approved? Our form system is amazing. And there's a lot of cool backend things that can be done. So if you have questions about that, book with your account manager, will help you through it.
Perfect. Okay. And that is my spiel on the authenticated users. We kind of touched on authenticated, and now we can go through those, the secure areas on the site and how to manage that content. So as we mentioned before, the secure area or the secure content on your site is just like any other content type on the site. Just like your basic pages, you'll see one called staff, or it's not wanting to show up in that one. You'll see one called, where are my secure pages here?
That would be a ticket that we would put in, because you should see that as an admin. They were probably created under the SysOps level.
Yes. So I see them in my content type drop down here.
Oh, yay.
You should see them under content, add content. You'll see whatever you told us to title that secure area, that will be the name of it showing up here. So you can add new content by just as you add a new basic page, content, add new secure area for board. You can find and manage the existing content by clicking on the word content, bringing you to your content management filter. You can then filter by that content type, and I can jump in and edit that board page. It is just like a basic page. It gives you a title, it gives you a body. We don't have header images on these pages. You can always add one into the body here. And then you do have the use of components. So you can utilize all the columns, all the accordions. If you need to, you can add a web form to the page. So this is how you edit those pages here. and you can take a look at it. Again, these are only going to be visible to someone that is logged in with the board secure user role. So if you have multiple secure areas, you have a volunteer and you have a board, volunteers aren't going to see the board stuff, only the board user role is. So if you have someone with 2 different logins, they'll have to, or they need access to both, they'll have to log in with both different logins. All right, so again, to submit or request a secure area on the site, if you don't have one, we want to submit a support ticket. And the one thing that we did recommend, I just want to show it again, is doing individual secure logins. And so what I think is a good best practice is to just pull up an Excel sheet. It can be your board secure users, and start making some columns. These are the things that our team will need in order to create these user roles. We need first name, last name, email address, and then I always recommend setting the username and password for them. Just make it generic, type them all in. You can add to this list as it grows. But once you have this together, you can take this Excel sheet and attach it to your support ticket. And you can say, hey, I need a secure area. We can say, please create a secure area titled volunteer. I am going to use individual logins, please. Oh, see the attached Excel sheet.
You're brave. I don't type in live webinar.
Trying to type it up quickly without mistakes. And then you can attach that file. What's great is that if you have a big, long list of boards, we can import that list and update those user roles automatically. So over time, as you start to add more, go ahead and just send us the new file. Instead of the individual ones, we can import the full list, and it will just add those new users to the site. So it makes it easy to manage. This also helps you see hey, Chrissy forgot her password. I can come back here and say, this is your password. I can email it out to you so that they have it. And it will let you tell us which users need to be removed from the site too. So if Brian is no longer on the board, I can come here and say, hey, please remove the username Brian C from the secure user group, and our team will be able to remove just that account. And I saw some questions pop in. Let me see if I can answer any here.
I was not looking.
For each secure area, I would need a separate username and password. Yes, that is correct. Each area will create a specific user role for that area, which is what all of these users would be assigned to this specific user role. So you will need separate logins.
However, for an individual user, like for me, you could give me access to all the different secured areas. So like individually, like your board chair, they need access to the allocations page and the staff page and the board page. That individual user can have access to it. Show the user list, Jordan.
Yeah.
And you'll see like Jordan has a couple of accesses, I think, unless you changed it. But if you don't have this, I'll let you talk about it, but this kind of ties in.
Yeah. This is, if you don't, as Allison said, if you don't have this, it's something that we can add so that you can manage the users on your site, especially as you start to build out more secure users for your board or your volunteer areas. You can ask our support team to add a user list to your site for admin users. And it will have, most of them will have one role per user, but Allison is correct. You can add multiple roles to a person. So if you have someone that does need access to, all 3 secure areas on your site, and they only want to use the one email address, you can assign them multiple user roles. You'll see all of the roles. It'll be a bulleted list down below for each user on this page, so you know who has what and who needs to be removed. So it's good to go through and maybe update this or take a look at this. Maybe quarterly, on a quarterly basis, just check in. You can see when the roles were created. And if you see a role that does not, or a name that does not have a role, that means it is an authenticated user role, which is why the school doesn't show here. Did I miss anything here, Allison? Anything else to touch on?
Actually go ahead and refresh that page. I just updated my role to have multiples. So you'll see under me, like I'm an admin. So admins don't need all the roles because we automatically get them. But just as an example, and know this is not something you can go change. This is a list for you to view and see what the users are, who they have on your site. A lot of you do not have this page, okay? So that would be a ticket in to ask our team. If you click manage on the black bar and you don't see this user list on the far end, then you can ask for it only if you're really using roles and stuff. That way you can see what accounts are. And for those of you who are doing like agency applications and those things, and you're like, oh, it'd be so nice to know what their username is, that column on the far left is their username. So you're able to go, hey, look, your username is school. That's what you're using. So, but yes, you can assign multiple roles. And we have to do it though. So that's a request to us. All right.
Perfect. And I just saw another question come in. Do you have to contact support to add new secured users after your secured area has been created? Yes, you do. We are kind of taking ownership of all of the account creation on the site just to keep things a little more secure. So if you have new board members that have joined and they need user accounts from the site, you can update your Excel sheet if you're using one, and then send that to our team through a support ticket. They can get those members added.
Hey, and let me tell you why we do that. Because if you had access, if our customers had access to creating users and stuff, they would go and delete users that were gone. And what happens when you delete a user is you delete the content they created, which you don't want to do. So we block users who have left. So if you have someone you don't want to have access anymore, you can submit a ticket to us and we will block their role, but we will never delete past users because that deletes content tied to them. And that's kind of why this area is all locked down. So it's for all of our benefits. I know it seems like a pain that you have to put in a ticket to have all these users and roles made. Trust me, we're doing this for you.
Yeah.
You want us to do it. It's okay. We don't.
Okay. Any other questions before we move to our wrap up? We've got a little bit of time still.
Hey, Jordan. Yeah, actually, I think just like one more time, if you guys don't mind. I think there might be still a little bit of confusion between when to use the authenticated user role versus requesting the secure area, like as far as agency applications is concerned.
Yeah,
So I
I
didn't know
see
if you'd
the
mind.
question. Yeah, let me jump
Yeah.
in on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so agency applications, because a lot of you do that. That is authenticated users. 99% of our organizations who are doing the agency application are doing that authenticated user, and then they're landing on that welcome page that Jordan said, and they got the link and they go to the application. That is not typically a secured area for agencies, not usually. There's exceptions, but generally speaking, it's an authenticated user. So just keep that separate. Your agency applications are more your authenticated users. They need to be able to log in, save draft, that sort of thing. The secured areas are a role that you want them to log in and they land on this board portal or this staff portal or this allocations portal with links to all the applications or this Exxon pledge portal. That's a different. Is this making sense? I'm trying to help because I do get the confusion, but they are very much different and they function different.
Yeah. The authenticated would be, maybe they're filling out a form and that's really all that they need to do on the site. Kind of once a year, they need to come submit things to you. That secure role means you're wanting to provide them more things than just the form. They have content, there's forms they want to go in and download and view. Maybe it's a form they want to fill out. It's kind of a step above that authenticated user role where they need to do a little bit more on the site than just submit a form.
And it's more shared content. It's like, I need a bunch of people to see the same stuff, like your board. I don't know. And if you have more questions, book with your account manager. Will help you.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, then I'll go, if I don't see any more questions pop in that Q&A here, I'll start on this closing details slide. Just as a reminder, support.oneach.com is our support site. It did get a new look and feel recently. If you haven't been there in a minute, I'm just going to pull it back up again, actually. This is our new support site. So it does have an exciting chat bot that you can use to search our knowledge base. You can ask it questions. It'll help pull some related content in here. You can still submit a support ticket on the right-hand side, and then we are working to populate kind of the left-hand side with our most popular support articles, some latest news. We've got the webinar information, so you can register for those upcoming webinars. So it's got a little bit of a new look and feel, but it's still the same, it serves the same purpose. It's going to our team. We're seeing if you come here, and we're always there for your support tickets. Okay, so some of the things that you may want to submit a support ticket for from today's webinar are for those secure content types or the secure areas. If you don't have them on the site already, everyone gets 3 for free, and we can definitely set those up. If you need to request user accounts for your secure areas with that Excel sheet, if you're doing the individual users. Another common one we see sometimes is those page components don't get added to those secure pages. So if you want components added to be able to add the web forms or buttons or create columns, submit a ticket, our team can get those added. And then if you are setting up an authenticated web form, so if you are going to create an agency application, you may need to request the block get added for those authenticated users, and that you have our demo agency application web form. If you need a template for a place to get started, you can request that form directly. If you have questions, if you want to talk through authenticated users or secure areas, or you're not sure which one you want to use, please book a meeting with your account manager. They're happy to help go through and explain that. And then lastly, we've got our upcoming webinars. Next month in August, we're going through some advanced page styling. And then in September, we're going to do some SEO tips and tricks for you all.
I also wanted to add to that, we'll be at the Western Regional United Way Conference in a couple weeks. So if you're there, please stop by, say hello.
Yeah, please do. We love coming and hearing from Brian and Tony when they get back, all the people that came and said hi. So please say hi to them. Okay, I think we'll give everyone about 10 minutes of their time back today. Allison, anything last talking points before we close it out?
Thank you for your time, and we will have the recording out within 24 hours. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Take care.